Alright, so now let's talk about our reference list. So a reference list is a list of references that would go in the back of your paper. So these are all the factors that should be included in a APA reference list. And these are not in any order yet. First, you want to put the author's name, so you would put the author's last name and then comma and then the first initial. Then you would put the title of the article, and also make sure to include the name of the magazine or the book or the journal where you found this article. You also want to put the volume and issue number of the article, and also the page numbers of the article. So if you got it from a journal, you want to put the pages of the journal. And also the date of the article's publication. So here are some reference list guidelines. So you would actually alphabetize the list by first author's last name. If you have multiple works by the same author, you would order them by year of publication with the earliest first. So let's say that one author published their work in 2001 and then another author published a work in 2002, you would put 2001 first. One author or a single author entries precede multiple author entries beginning with the same last name. So it happens that you sometimes use references and they have the same author, or they might have the same author and other authors as well. So you would actually put the single author first. If there is no author, you would just use the title of the piece that you're using. Sometimes it's difficult to find the date of the article, or sometimes if you use a website, you don't necessarily know when the website was last updated. So instead of putting a date in there, you would put a ND, which stands for no date. And always title that page references. So this is an example of a reference page. So as you can see, we can actually look at the second example, the Carol example here. So you have the author's last name and then comma, their initial, first name is initial, and then Gilroy is the second author and then their initials, and then you would actually put the year after the authors, and then you would put the name of the article, and then you would put the name of the journal where you found it. And then 41 is the volume number. This one does not seem to have an issue number. And then the page is 233 to 242. And if you found it on a website, you would just say retrieved from and then put the website in there. If you look at the third example, this one actually does have an issue. So if you go all the way down to Journal of Counseling and Development, that one is the name of the journal, and then 80, that would be the volume number, and then 2 in parentheses, that's the issue number, and then the pages. So there are some APA specific punctuation rules that I'm going to go over. First one refers to commas. So you would set off year from author in parenthetical reference. So Miller, comma, 1997. Quotation marks for verbatim material from an outside source. You also use double quotes for invented expressions, but only the first time used. And then you can also use semicolon. This is used to separate multiple parenthetical references. So let's say that you got an idea or something from multiple authors, so you read the same thing in multiple articles and you want to cite both of those articles. The first article is by Johansson, 1987, so you would put that in there, and then you would separate them by putting in a semicolon and put in the second article where you got that information from. So Sachs and Wheaton, 1992. So APA is a style guide, and here are some rules that you can follow. You can strive for clarity and concision, be specific for your audience, so who did what, how did they do it, why did they do it, and what was the end result. Revise for clear declarative sentences. Try to avoid poetic language, so no metaphoric images. If you have a choice between two words, go for the one that is most clear and uniformly understood, not because it sounds smart, verbose, or flowery. So this is a trap that some students might fall into because they want to use really advanced words because they think that it makes them sound smarter. Reality is most people probably don't even know what that word means, so you want to use words and sentences that are easy to understand for anyone to read. And sometimes if you want to prepare a manuscript for publication, and when you're doing the final formatting, look at the following sections and refer back to the APA style guide. The title page and the abstract, so you want to make sure that everything looks good there. Paragraphs and headings, so you want to make sure that everything is nicely divided into paragraphs and that you have the headings and the subheadings where they're supposed to be. Abbreviations, if you're using that. Math and statistics, so if you have tables and things like that. Units of measurement. References. Notes and footnotes. Tables and figures. Copyright and quotations. Okay, and there are some other APA resources that I want to provide. So first, you can actually make an appointment at the Writing Center with a writing consultant like myself, or we have other graduate writing consultants over there. We also have a lot of undergraduate writing consultants, and we can all show you how to use the reference guide. And this is our website. You can also head to APA's website and visit their free tutorial. So the table that I showed you earlier actually comes from that website. This was the table that listed the different in-text citations. So this is, if you don't want to buy the APA manual, which costs money, this is a free tutorial online that's taken from the manual, but you don't have to pay for it, and it's really easy to use. You also have a voice in the background. It's almost like a PowerPoint, but you can choose to turn that off as well if you're just interested in looking at the tutorial. You can also head to the Purdue OWL's website and click on APA Format and Style Guidelines. So I would actually recommend to use this as a secondary source if you can't find the answers on the APA website. You can also buy or borrow the most current APA style guide from the library, the CLU bookstore, or your favorite online used book resource. You can go on Amazon and buy that as well. There are some handouts available online on the Writing Center's website, so if you go to these two websites, you have access to those forms as well. Okay, so that was it for APA. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to working with you at the Writing Center, and hopefully more students will reach out to us, and we'll be more than happy to help you with APA guidelines and formatting.